Welcome to the April 2022 Las Vegas Real Estate Report. My name's Jan O'Brien. We have an amazing team of professionals that cover the entire valley, including Boulder City and Pahrump. Make sure you reach out to myself, Cosmo, or one of our amazing team members for any of your real estate needs. Here's what I'm going to cover this month. As always, we're covering the Las Vegas Valley area stats, the things that are important for you to know if you're considering buying or selling here in the valley. We're going to cover 4 trends of pricing around the valley. We do this every month as well. Have a few key housing trends and stats that I want to cover about what's happening in the market and what's going to continue to go on with home prices and inventory and all of the rest. So let's dive in. Well, once again, Las Vegas has set another price point. Broken a record yet again for I don't know how many months in a row now, but our median sales price on single family homes, $460,000. That's up $10,000 from February. And that's 26.7% year over year appreciation for single family. Let's look at the condos. Condos and townhomes are up almost 40%. New median sales price at $270,000. Again, another record. You can see a year ago, the median sales price for a condo or townhome in the valley was $194,000. Number of new listings. This is a good sign. Single family, we're seeing a good increase in the number of listings that came onto the market in March. That was actually up 19.5% compared to February, which is, yes, a short month, but not only by a couple days. So let's look at the available inventory because that's the key. So more listings came on the market. And this is another good indicator of maybe loosening up a little bit and having a little more inventory to choose from should you be a buyer. And that was at the end of the last day of March 31st. There were 2,005 available single-family homes. That's up 13% compared to last March. But if we come down here and look at the condos, you can see that this is where I was saying it's become the new affordable price point is there's definitely been more sales in condos and townhomes because look at the available inventory at the end of the month, and that is actually down 34% month over month. So a trend here, a move perhaps to more affordable housing in the form of condos and townhomes. We have definitely been seeing that. All right, let's get back to single family for March, and we had 3,272 units close for the month. That was up 30% from February, but actually down 12% from a year ago in March. And again, that median sales price, and you can really, I like this chart because it really shows from 2020 all the way to where we are now, this consistent increase and this rapid increase, acceleration of home pricing that we have been experiencing. And it's very similar for the condos and townhomes. So median number of closings, median close price, as we mentioned, 460,000, new record, up 26.7% year over year. So cash sales were also up year over year, 24%. 31.7% of all the sales that happened in March were cash. The rest were done with financing. And short sales continue to be historically low. Foreclosures, distressed properties at 0.2% of all sales. It's going to take quite a while for these to uptick more than this for a lot of reasons. I talk about it every month. One of them being people have equity, even if they're behind in their payments. They most likely have equity. Not everyone. There's always a little bit of foreclosure and short sale activity, unless we have drastic price changes, which I don't foresee, nor economists and experts are not seeing any major downturn in prices. These are going to stay low for quite a while. All right, let's take a look around the valley. Each month we cover Pahrump. Vicki is our Pahrump specialist. Reach out to her if you have any questions about the Pahrump. Also Boulder City. She knows a lot about Boulder City. She services all of the area. But Pahrump, we're going to also take a look at Summerlin. Dennis Anderson is our Summerlin specialist. And then here in Silverado Ranch, we just kind of look at this area too. And as well as Inspirada, John and Katie on our team, our specialist here in the Inspirada area. So we just take a snapshot around the valley. $380,000 was the median sales price. So I just said it was $460,000 for all of the Vegas area. The combined area that the Realtor Association reports was $460,000 for single family. For Pahrump, it was $380,000. That's up 32.5%. Of course, that's based on the 90 units that sold. In Summerlin, That's almost 700,000 for the 179 units sold. The median sales price, of course, is directly in the middle. 699.9 was smack dab in the middle of those 179, with half being under 699.9 and the other half being above. That's why I like to track that number as a consistent thing in our monthly report. So then we come down here to Silverado Ranch. Not really building too much new in here. There are pockets of some new homes, but some older properties. 465, so a little bit above the median for the entire valley, up 34.8% with 111 units sold. So it's not just Silverado Ranch master plan. We actually just drew a boundary around this area, and we just look at all the homes that are in this little shape here that's between 15 and 215 and Boulder Highway here. So Inspirata market report for a master plan community that's down here in the Henderson area, right past where the Raider practice facility is. This is great master plan community. They had 33 units sell in March, single family only, with a median sales price of $655,000. That's up 36.5%. So you can see prices continue to push up in the valley, and it has everything to do with not as much inventory and high buyer demand. So let's take a look at a couple of housing trends that are happening nationally and correlate that to the Vegas area as well. So one thing that I just mentioned, and it's certainly happening nationally, is that March is one of the first months that we've seen new listings versus available listings at the end of the month have surpassed that. That's a good sign. I just showed you that we had an uptick in listings in Vegas as well. We'll watch that as we move forward to see, do we start seeing a little bit more inventory and more things to choose from, and maybe not as much of an acceleration of the home prices, but maybe just they're continuing to move up. That's what everyone is going to believe is happening. I do as well. Maybe they just don't jump up $10,000, for example, every month. We shall see. Only time's going to tell us that. Next, this is a great chart that really talks about one component of why we have so little inventory, or why there's a deficit of available homes across the country. This is a national statistic chart here, but we definitely see this in Vegas as well. And this is going back to 1970s, and it's simply the number of housing units that were completed on a national basis. This means builders building new homes. And if you have been following any of the news, this is a component that comes out a lot. The fact that the builders for the last 14 straight years, honestly, about 10 years, have been really well below the amount of new homes that generally we see in the country. Now, we had this red area is 2003 to 2007, where it was record-setting numbers of new homes being built. And then we had the recession, right? And we had all this inventory. And the builders really have never gotten back for 14 straight years back to the levels of building inventory or building homes, which then allow another segment of available homes for people to purchase versus resale. This is a big reason why we're dealing with inventory issues. Now, of course, it's not this alone. This is coupled with all the buyer demand, the interest rates that had been so low. Yes, they're ticking up to 5%, but historically that is still low. The pandemic brought it even lower, and people were seeing these 3%, or you could get even below 3% depending on your credit and whether you did a 15 or a 30-year loan and so forth. But that is just something I wanted to share in this month's report. And then where are we going? Well, this quote from the editorial director at Fortune really sums it up. No one is got the crystal ball. All the experts, all the things that you're seeing on YouTube, and the clickbait that you see about the housing market's about to crash and all of this. Honestly, no one really knows. There's things that we can follow. There's metrics that we can watch. There's indicators. Everybody has an opinion. And a lot of the times the experts are wrong. And I just like this quote that says, more industry insiders are throwing out their previous forecasts and replacing them with a bullish short-term outlook. Indeed, some experts say the 2022 housing market might go down as one of the most competitive on record. Well, all signs are continuing to point to that because of, again, the high buyer demand. Interest rates are ticking up, but they're at 5, and there's just so many components. Like, are they going to go higher? The Fed is definitely going to raise rates in May. They're saying maybe 0.5 point. Mortgages sometimes make movements before then, the mortgage interest rate. We're just going to have to watch and see where they're going to go. I definitely don't think they're going down. They may fluctuate day to day in the high 4s to 5, and you can always buy the interest rate down to get below a certain amount. But this is what's really interesting to me. So to that point, we get questions all the time. Should I sell my house now? And because when is the top of the market? Or I believe we're at the top of the market. The reality is no one knows when we're at the top of the market until we're beyond the top or the bottom of a market, right? We're only going to know that when we're 1 or 2, really, in my opinion, 2 months or so to see the trend that we finally hit it. We can see we definitely hit, the height of the market back a couple months ago. Now, I've just kind of showed you that everything is pointing towards prices continuing to go up because of demand. Yes, interest rates are up, but there's still a ton of demand and there's not enough inventory. So should I sell? Should I cash out my money if I'm a seller and maybe I rent? It all, the answer to that question is really all about what is important to you as an individual and your family. What is it? What are your goals? And we certainly are here for you. If you want to reach out to myself, Cosmo, anybody on our team, that's why we do this every month. We would love to sit down and give you a free consultation and just go over your particular scenario. But these two charts talk about the benefit of perhaps buying. So if you're maybe a tenant now and you're thinking you want to buy, or if you're sitting on the sidelines going, I'm going to wait till the prices come down, you could be waiting for a while. So here are two benefits to owning a home right now. And if you're a seller, do you go buy something else? Do you wait it out? Again, those are your personal decisions to make. But home ownership as a hedge against inflation. Here's a historical chart showing at whatever the inflation was for that decade, and this was for 2021 here, where we were up to 6.8. I know we're at 8.5 or so as I record this, but that the appreciation, because inflation is up, does not mean home prices go down. This chart shows the correlation that in fact, in every particular decade, except for right here in the 80s, there was a home price appreciation, okay, even though the inflation was higher. And then this chart is showing that if you were to purchase a home, if you had purchased it's using an average in the country of $360,000 home in January 2022, given the price appreciation projected by this survey of economists, then you would gain about $96,000 in equity over a 5-year period. And that is with just a standard appreciation rate, not these crazy appreciation rates we've had in the last couple of years at 20+% in Vegas, 25%. Just showed you we're at 26, 27% year over year appreciation in these first few months of the year. So that's what potentially you leave on the table should you decide to rent, or if you're a tenant, you're leasing somewhere and you're not jumping into the housing market. This is what you're potentially leaving on the table. So just some food for thought. Again, it's all very specific to what your goals are and what your risk tolerance is as well. And as far as what the experts say, here are the top experts in the real estate and financial fields here, from CoreLogic, Fannie, Freddie, et cetera, the Mortgage Bankers Association. So a blended forecast of 6.1% for the rest of 2022. Now we're obviously starting out like gangbusters, and it's in double digits across the country. And I just once again said it's 25, 26% here in Vegas, but we've got the rest of the year to go yet, and we'll see where that goes. But the one thing I want to point out is you don't see anything in the red here. Nothing is showing like a major crash. Okay, so everything, all signs are pointing to maybe a slowdown. I say that every month here on this video, and honestly, for the first 3 months of the year, we haven't seen a slowdown in the price appreciation. I've covered the things that we're starting to see, a few more properties coming onto the market and so forth. So that does it for this edition, the April edition, reporting March statistics. Make sure you reach out to one of myself or one of our professionals on our team. We're here to support all your real estate needs, and you can follow us online on YouTube. We're on TikTok as well at Living Las Vegas, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see you next month for the real estate report.